a second there talking, because we talked about the focused intensity training, and it was interesting that you brought up the yoga instructors. And the one thing that I've really discovered in this past year more than anything is that mindset connection. And what has really clued into me, like every time, actually it took me turning on the TV and there was some sort of PBS program on that talked about the mind-body connection, that meditative kind of connection that the yoga people go through. And the way that these yoga instructors and experts were talking about the mind-body connection, the spiritual connection that they have while going through the process, I'm like, damn, that's exactly what I go through every single day that I weight train. And why do they have this perception that weight training is any different than yoga? I find weight training to be incredibly meditative for me in the state that I'm at right now. It never used to be like that. I'm at a point right now where I just block everything else out in life and my surroundings. I have no idea who's around me, and it's just me and the iron at that time, and just going through the movements. And there's just something really calm, even though I'm cranking intensity and pumping up like crazy. There's something calm and relaxing in that moment, and that great connection that I think that's what gets me going to the gym more than anything right now than ever before.
Well, and finding that place, and you know, right now you just set me up for a rant I could do, because I mean I've been working and I've been studying, and I totally get, and I do have this whole pent up piece around, you know, where do you yoga get off with I'm the only meditative spiritual practice, really? Mm-hmm. I mean, and it really does. I mean, that mindset, that paradigm comes from the origins of yoga, dating back. I mean, yoga was it's got that ancient lineage creation, meant as an act of meditation. It's got a lot of spiritual origin. I mean, it's martial arts that was the meditative monks were taught martial arts as a mindfulness practice. And so what I talk about the fit practice, I say, you know, just because strength training really is just over 100 years old. I mean, for modern form of strength training, anything outside of rocks, you know, late 1890s, you know, is kind of era. The Sandow era. I have the original book, my friend Eric Hillman sent me, the original Strength and How to Obtain It from 1893. I have a number one original. It's real interesting, from 1893. There's actually more progressive mindfulness integrated practices in this book, more like fit practices than you'll find in any muscle and fitness magazine in the last 20 years.
Wow.
So that he had something figured out way back then. But just because strength training is a modern practice, we want to poo-poo it. Like there, you know, nothing we can create in the modern world can be as good as the old book or the old thing or so we get a mystique, and it's an illusion we create. But I'm 100% with you in that we want to bust through that paradigm problem, that resistance, and get people to understand that what you just described is every bit the meditative piece that very few yoga practitioners actually truly ever get to. And just because you're doing a different practice doesn't make any one of them less. I mean, the cycles tell you every day that they're in a meditative practice. I mean, what you found is that silence, that place, that quietness in the middle, that space between the notes, that place of sanctuary. You know, the sanctuary of the iron, just me and the iron. I mean, that's such a beautiful place. I mean, so many years, that's why I trained by myself, is because I don't really want to bring anybody else into my meditation.
Exactly. It's true.
I'm doing my thing at the pace, at the flow. I'm in flow like Michael Jordan would be on a basketball court. I'm in flow. You know, instead of the hoop looking this big, you know, the weights are looking this small, you know, and I feel strong, and I'm getting stronger every set, and I'm peaking, and it's magical. It's truly magical. And when you've had that magical experience, you want to share that with other people. You want them to get it. And I think that's it. That's the key to getting people from this position of, I do strength training in an obligatory, I have to fashion, and I secretively hate it, to just loving it. You absolutely love it. And once you make that breakthrough, and some people, like you say, they'll make it with another sport, another activity. But even if you're a golfer and never loved strength training, but you know the peace and the quiet and the focus you get in golf, bring that into your strength training practice, even if it's the 10-minute practice you do. Exactly. When you bring that, you'll change your practice. Because when you show up, the practice changes. And so many people go to the gym, they check their mind in the glove box of their car in the parking lot, they go in mindlessly, they wander around, they stare at the TV, they listen to music, they avoid every inch of that floor and every moment they're in that place, and they come out disappointed, uncertain if they achieved anything.
Exactly. It's frustrating to see. And yeah, those are the people that's why if I could bottle the experience that I have going through the workout and that joy that I feel, man, we could make billions selling that kind of stuff. But I just wish I could take my brain and plant it in theirs for just a moment to feel what it's really like to be present in that moment and to really experience the workout. Yeah, rather than just something I got to do, rush through it, just casually going through the workout.
What you're talking about is really truly the Zen of strength training. I mean, it's the Zen of strength, the Zen moment of strength. And I've done, as you're talking about that, I've done some, I released a dialogue yesterday on the Integral Institute website. It's a very consciousness, progressive human development. It's where I teach. I've been a teacher and facilitator for 10 years with the Integral Institute, it's got a lot of Buddhist origin, Eastern origins. It's not Buddhist, but it's a progressive think tank for human potential. Along with them and a couple other groups out of the East Coast, I've done a lot of audios on this. And so you're bringing in meditators, yoga practitioners, psychologists, all these and a lot of Zen people, and you're bringing them into a dialogue. So I've got what you've got on a lot of audio programs, what you're talking about, that moment captured and that integration of all this. So like I look at the fit practice, and I think you take strength training and you bring the intensity and focus of martial arts, the mindfulness, peace, and presence of yoga, and you bottle it together and you put it into weight training, a modern practice that fits the daily demands of life and also does what ultimately is fundamentally the most important thing to your leanness, energy, vitality, and longevity, which is build lean muscle mass and strong bones.
Amen.
You got the perfect workout right there because it's mind, body, life, and it goes the distance. Because you're gonna have to figure out strength training sometime in your life, or you're gonna pay the price every day you have it. And sometimes I see guys and women in their 70s and 80s having to be introduced and getting it, but being introduced to strength training for the first time in their life because that's their option. They either die and wither or they get strength training. Well, I would rather you have a foundation in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, or teens for that matter, than have to learn it in your 90s. So, whatever age you are at today, you're at the perfect age to become a strength training practitioner. Correct.
Totally agree. Agree. Yeah.
And I just stole your thunder on that because you set me up and I hit it out of the park and it's my thing and I just, I'm with you. I just want to go, ah.
But it really ties into the one thing that really resonated incredibly well with me that you said not that long ago was that, I forget if it was weight training or strength training is more, or just training in general is less science than it is art, something along that line. And I think when you really embrace that moment and you're in that kind of Zen-like state during your workouts, that in itself is art. Like I look at my body as art and I'm chiseling away certain things and adding on clay. I can see it visually as an art form, bodybuilding as an art form, but I also look at like in that moment that it's like I said, flow. And to me, it's not just art in the terms of visually. It's almost like to me, it's like a story. Everything I'm doing right now is a story that I'm going through. And I want it to be the most exciting, passionate story that I could possibly tell. And each rep that I'm doing in each set just enhances the story and makes it more exciting, intriguing, and just adds more. It just adds more to it than just going through the experience. I think that's what it is. When you really are in that moment, it adds to the experience. Yes, you're moving the weights like everyone else is, but you make that experience so much more when you're really in tune with what's going on.
It's the brush strokes, it's the notes, it's the music, it's creating the music, it's creating the art, and I think that's it. Really, is you're talking about the art of it, yeah. And it goes back to something. And I think you taught, and I talked about this, and I'll do it real short, which is I got into that argument years ago with Mike Menser, and Menser was the great Olympic, Mr. Olympia, but the proponent of the one set wonder, heavy duty, just do one set and get home. And I said, Mike, you've confused the desire for results with the joy and satisfaction of the journey, the path, the process. I said, if Picasso could paint a picture in one stroke, would he? No, he wouldn't, because he didn't paint for the result. He painted for the expression. He painted for the art. The art was in the doing. The art is actually in the sets and reps of being in there. The end result is the end result. And that has something to do with it. It's an expression, and it stands for and represents the meaning of the painting is held in the fact that it is the result of the art. So it embodies the art that was done in the painting. And it's not just the end result, because you look at it and you know that they poured themselves into it. So that's the 98% of the art, is in the doing of the strokes.
Exactly. Yeah, I just find so much of the programming out there today, it's all about condensing things and focused on the calories being burned than it is the actual enjoying the process itself and really being present in the moment. I've mentioned my quick 10-minute workouts. Yeah, they were condensed. It was condensed for a reason, because I was really busy at the time. And it's okay to do short workouts, but I tried to put as much focus and energy while I was training than I would a typical long duration workout. I wasn't doing it for the sake of I got to get this done and over with as fast as possible. I don't want to waste my time in the gym. It's that I've got 10 minutes. I'm going to make the most of this 10 minutes. I'm going to be mentally present in this 10 minutes and get the most out of it.
No, and it's not duration. The quality of the art is not dependent upon the duration. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, you bring that intensity, you bring that focus, you bring that presence to whatever you're doing, and it is whatever you're doing. And whether you're talking with your kids, whether you're having dinner with your family. Right. And that's one of the things that I always taught in the focused intensity training, which is if you want more focus and more results and more productivity in your life, learn to focus yourself. And no better place to learn to focus yourself than in the integration of your body and mind and physical activities, because you're creating a charge in that focus too. So you get more practice with the art of focusing.